Greetings, my viewers. Monster Master Godzilla here, and I'm here to continue the Ghostbuster-A-Thon. We're now up to Ghostbusters Answer the Call, or simply just Ghostbusters. Ghostbusters 2016. Oh my god. Now, where to begin with this one, folks? After years of Ghostbusters being away from the theaters for a really long time, and hasn't had a new entry since Ghostbusters 2. Paul Feig, they had made so many attempts to make a Ghostbusters 3 after 2. But then, after so many drafts, they end up remaking. They end up having, after so many drafts had been made, especially after Harold Ramis, who played Egon Spengler, died, they decided to shelf Ghostbusters 3 and turn it into a standalone movie. And my god, this is an absolute disaster. This isn't the abomination of the franchise. This one didn't feel anything like Ghostbusters. The actors are terrible. The acting was horrendous. All the jokes, all the comedy was forced. Everything about the whole movie was forced. Like, Paul Feig did a shitty job making this movie. It was an absolute disrespect of the popular franchise they gave us. And what the fuck is what they thinking? They had good actors, but the rest of it was shit. The CGI was a little weird. It's so silly and cartoonish. The comedy in this one was not funny. Made it feel like a straight up comedy, a spoof, while the original Ghostbusters was comedy gold, like dark and funny. And my thoughts on all the actresses. And the bad guy's stupid. I don't like the villain. Like, Rowan is the worst villain out of the whole movie. The worst villain ever. Like, his motives of taking over the world made no sense whatsoever. And all the actors, I don't really like. All the actors are not good. I mean, Melissa McCarthy is the best part of the whole movie. Kate McKinnon and Kristen Wiig are okay. Chris Hemsworth, oh my god, he was such a waste, a useless character. Seeing him in stuff like Thor and Snow White and the Huntsman were awesome, and then seeing this is just so embarrassing. Such a big waste of an actor. You would think because he's popular now, they would make him someone awesome, but no, they're making him a waste. But then Leslie Jones, like the literal black token of the group, she is the worst character out of the whole movie. Her jokes were completely painful. It's just unbearable. And Ernie Hudson from the who played Winston Zeddemore, he may have been the black token of the group, but at least all of his jokes were funny. Just Leslie Jones, she is not funny. She's the worst character out of the whole movie. It's just, a lot of the monsters are still creative, but the CGI was a little silly. It didn't feel right. Everything about this movie was trash. Absolute, utterly unbearable to watch. It became the most disliked movie trailer on YouTube. It's just one of those movies that they're unwatchable. It's just equally as bad as 20. It's equally as bad as Fantastic Four from 2015. Just can't sit through this. I mean, this. I will say this is for hardcore Ghostbusters fans only, but even they will be disappointed. I remember I only saw it. I saw it in the theaters. I remember going into the theaters. I I was excited to see it. I mean, I went in with no expectations whatsoever. I only went and saw it because I'm a hardcore Ghostbusters fan, and it turns out it was terrible, and it's just one of those movies that are considered unwatchable. This abomination of the franchise. It's and this one should not. And I honestly shouldn't even been given this movie a review because it had no purpose in the franchise whatsoever. But because it bears the title, I had to address it, which is why you're seeing this review. So, the story is that all the scientists, the three of them were all scientists. They had which are Christian Wiig, Melissa McCarthy, and Christian Wiig. They were the three that were funny, and they had Chris Hemsworth, who dumped the work on all of them, and they were checking him out a lot. I mean, all the girls were checking him out a lot because he's a hunk and shit. But he's just not funny at all. They made him like the counterpart for Janine Melnitz, who was the better receptionist. And all the girls, their comedy was just not good. The original team landed better jokes than them. And even worse of all, when they got Leslie Jones, his character, she worked at a train station, saying that she knows New York, and she reads a lot of non-fiction, and claims that she can borrow a car from her uncle. And just when you thought it was going to be an enterprise borrowing a car, it turns out she runs a funeral home. So they ended up having a hearse. So yeah, like remember on the original Ghostbusters, they got the hearse because it was rejected? Well, here, they got a hearse because the uncle owns a funeral home. The only cool part is that all the original actors had made cameos, but not as their characters. So, that's the only downside to that. Slimer makes a cameo in that one, and it has a female Slimer, that was unnecessary to the plot. Even a Stay Puft Marshmallow Man makes an appearance as a balloon, Thanksgiving Day balloon. And then, eventually, when they had Rowan, who is the bad guy of the movie, his motives make no sense whatsoever. He has the worst villain ever. And the only good thing I liked which is really funny, because remember how in Ghostbusters 2 that they had the emblem showing the ghost having two fingers? Well, here the villain is actually the ghost in the emblem, except he's wearing a red bow tie. So after defeating Rowan, throughout the film, their headquarters was an old Chinese restaurant, which got shut down. But then at the end, they end up getting the firehouse as their headquarters. Now, and then the post-credit scene indicates that they were supposed to have a sequel, which got shit-canned, because thank goodness they didn't do it. It shows that Sigourney Weaver made a cameo mentioning Gozer. Bottom line, this movie has no purpose in the franchise other than the name. It's an utter abomination to the franchise. It's not worthy of being it's not even worthy of being of the name. It's all it's all. It's like an unwatchable mess. However, Ghostbusters Answer the Call had comic books on IDW Publishing, and their comedy actually sounded better in the comics. Basically, all their comedy that you see here just sounded better on paper, but visually, and it just didn't come out right. It didn't translate well on screen. So, if you're a hardcore Ghostbusters fans and you want to get the good stuff, stay away from this god awful abomination. It's unwatchable. I would say it's for hardcore Ghostbusters fans only, but even they will be disappointed. So, that's all for now. So stay tuned for more. Next up we'll be checking out a better movie in the franchise. And as always, stay, and I'll see you tonight. And I will see you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And this is Monster Master Godzilla signing off.